All right. Looks like we're live. Howdy, howdy. It's. Sorry, I had to pause there for a weird second because I was trying to decide how I was going to introduce myself. But this is Matt, Casual Green Gamer, back here again. Factorio Take 2, Day 3. Not continuous, but this is the second. This is right after yesterday's live stream. Trying to just get myself back into the swing of things. Try to get myself on a proper routine rather than just not do live streams because I didn't feel like it. It's definitely not an attitude I want to have. So with that, we're back to continue onward to glory, as the name of the save is. As I demonstrated the other day, that this is a fully unmodded run that I'm currently doing. And here is the full mod list. I'm probably not going to be showing that every single video. I'm just doing it for the time being, just to make sure, just to be clear, that there are no mods currently attached to the save file. This is unmodded, pure default settings, everything. Get this run out and done, and then I can finally say that I've beaten Factorio in its pure as it was intended, at least once. It's not like it might not be required for some, but I feel it would be proper. It would at least be proper for me to do so. So here we are, and we are going to continue. Now, as I recall, last time I was here, I finished setting up both red science and green science, otherwise known as automation science and logistics science. They do have a specific name for what kind of science they are, but most people, including myself, tend to refer to them by their color. Yeah, excuse me. Don't ask me why the people do it like that. That's, I don't know if it could be a laziness thing, or maybe just, it's easier to say. It is easier to say red science than automation science, and it's a lot easier to say green science than logistics science. Also, I just like green, so so I like to just say green. But nonetheless, we finished doing that, as well as getting up a small steel setup here. We're getting a decent trickle of steel, not enough to get a proper automation going, but it's enough to I could stockpile some steel for use in later projects. Now, last I checked, we have been triggering, as you can see, the pollution clouds have been triggering the biters, and you can even see this little tack group forming. But evolution is currently at 0.12. Which means we're still in. Which means the nests are getting more health. The nests get more health. The higher the evolution goes. But we don't have to be concerned about biter evolution until it's 0.20, because that's when we start getting medium biters. And I'm at the current rate of research. I'm gonna get myself some damage upgrades here eventually, but between that and my current setup, I should be good for the time being. I'm definitely gonna want to push more towards getting armor piercing rounds, especially I want to make sure I get armor piercing rounds before I start seeing big biters, because those guys do not mess around. I'm currently only using yellow ammo in these gun turrets, and those will handle the perimeter. Especially small biters are easy for yellow turrets with yellow ammo. Red ammo will make it even easier. However, but we're gonna need the armor piercing rounds by the time we get to the big biters, because those guys have really high damage resistance, and at that point, yellow ammo is just not gonna cut it. But that doesn't happen until like evolution 0.50, so there's still a ways away. that said, we don't want to just sit around waiting for stuff to happen. So I believe last time I was here, I had decided that I was going to get the ball rolling towards getting myself blue science, because blue science is the gateway to a lot of the major automation bits here, and blue science is also called chemical science, just in case anyone is wondering. But that is still a ways away. Let's see. So we got blue science, and right now the thing we need to unlock to get ourselves at least on the road towards it is oil. This is a trigger. This is locked behind a trigger tech. However, I need an oil refinery and a chemical plant that's capable of turning crude oil into petroleum gas and all that good stuff. First things first, I need to mine some oil. And obviously we don't do that traditionally with electric miner. We do that with a pump jack, which we can make now because I've got the steel to do so. So can't really do anything with the oil at the moment until we get more science moving along. But we do need to at the very least get some pump jacks put down and start collecting some of that crude oil, so that when we have when we are able to, we can just get this going. I'm just now realizing that these two stacks are not lined up. It's not a big deal, but I don't like it. Anyway, on to the pump jacks. Let's get the steel going here. That's quite a bit of steel. It's actually quite a good amount of steel. Should give me enough for, how many pump jacks do I need? Just 4. I just need 4 to start out. That should be good. I am going to need storage tanks and lots of pipes. So let's get those going. All right. And while that's going, I also need to make sure I get some other things off the ground. So I unlocked the railway last time, and that's great because I am gonna want to start building towards a rail base. Rail bases aren't exactly my forte, but I know I've done enough messing around and experimentation to where I'm not 100% confident, but I am at the very least capable of making one that hopefully, well, let's put it this way. Hopefully I can make a rail system that works as effectively as I want it to, so that I can build a base that is nigh infinitely expandable, or at the very least able to expand far enough into the end game to where I can build off an entire base with a rail system that will get me all the way to maybe even Aquilo. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but we're certainly gonna give it a shot. But obviously the first step is unlocking that railway system, so that's done. However, we're going to need the resources to get that going. I'll get that off the ground. And one of those resources is stone. We got a really small stone patch right here. It's not going to get us a whole lot, but it should be enough for us to at the very least stockpile. And some of this I'll probably process into bricks also. Although part of me is wondering if I should dedicate this to just purely stone for the tracks, and find another stone patch, maybe like this one, that I can turn into bricks. And even that one. All these patches are so small. I mean, they're bigger in terms of they got a lot more snow. They got a lot more stone in them, but they're really small in size. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue. Well, hopefully it doesn't become too big of an issue, I should say. Do I not have any splitters? I definitely should automate some more most of my more logistic components. Because right now I just automated belts, and the only thing I'm really So what I'm looking for. I'm just hand building by hand the rest of the logistics items, which is fine, but it's not exactly the most expedient method. And then we're just gonna shove that into a box for the time being. And while we did that, our pump jacks finished up, and I think that big wave hit the big wave hit us. Doesn't look like we got suffered too much damage though. I'll just patch that up real quick. Yep, pretty sizable. And they are doing that thing where they're poking around looking for weak spots within the defenses. While I'm fairly confident in my defensive structure, don't want to take these attacks lightly. They can spiral out of control if we're not careful. Alright. And they're going to preparing for the next wave. Alright, now we should be getting our damage upgrades next. Now we finished the electrical grid. Just gonna let that run. There's not anything really here that I really need at the moment. If I'm being honest, I don't want to use solar power. It's not that it's not it's not that it's not useful. It's just it takes a lot. It takes a lot of resources that you have to sink, and it takes a lot of space that you have to sink into it for it to be effective. And I'm not a big fan about how it only works during the day, and then it kind of just holds. I don't know. I'm not overly fond of it. I would like to just stick with steam power, at least until I get nuclear off the ground. But that's a ways away, and also locked behind blue sides. So I don't know if it's if going without solar power is realistic. So we'll see. But let's get our pump jacks down. Got this to collect the crude oil. We don't need a ton at the moment. Well, it's not looking. We can't really do anything at the moment with where we're at. But it's guarded behind a trigger tech, which means we gotta get this down anyway. Let's put some lights because I don't like seeing in the dark. And let's get ourselves a defensive perimeter. These guys do put out a decent amount of pollution. I don't know how it compares to. It's about the same as electric miners. Yeah, that's about 10 pollution. I can cut that down, but I can cut. There'll be a way for me to cut down on the amount of pollution I'm producing, but I'll need to get to blue science first. So until that happens, just make sure I got a decent defensive perimeter around these pump jacks. So that's that. All I gotta do is plug these bad boys in, and there you go. It's kind of funny I'm still using the small ones, even though I literally just unlocked the larger power poles. It's not a big deal though. There we go. That's gonna stockpile for a bit. So we got the oil processing, and now we've unlocked the other the components to making the components for making blue science. One of those being plastics and sulfur. So I'm gonna add that to the research queue. All right. Now I guess the first, second, or I suppose the big question is, what direction do I want to go first? I don't know that I have 100% have the defensive / offensive capabilities to set up a bit to build towards the proper base that I'm looking for, but I can at the very least start planning ahead. And to do that, I'm going to need. I'm gonna get some engines. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get some engines because I want a car. How bad is it? Not bad at all, but they are veering off to the side here to where there's no gun turrets. Alright, better keep an eye on that. Let's see. Get that. I need gears. Add some steel. I need at least 8 engines. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, that should be enough. I'm gonna let that run for a bit. I'm gonna get myself a car. Should make traveling around easier because I want to get a better lay of the land. I did have this radar set up, but that's only gonna give me a scan of a general area scan. I could increase the area scan with more radar, but I only built the one radar, didn't I? Let's do that. Give me some more radars. Give me some more coverage, so I know how much space I'm working with. The rest of it, I'll just suss out with car. Is it time? Am I finally gonna have to? I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to destroy those worms. They're standing right where I wouldn't want to put this radar. I didn't realize it would happen so soon, but I guess we gotta kill the worms. Those guys have been just sitting there chilling since day one, breathing in the smoke cloud without a care in the world. But now they've finally inconvenienced me enough to where I'm just gonna gun them down. I don't know. Maybe I don't actually have to. At least not at the moment. But I do want more radar coverage because I want to know what I'm working with. I also would like to be able to see the rest, see what's going on in my base. So we're gonna expand the radar coverage out a little bit, just a little bit. And you probably gotta notice here at the top, the little corner there, that it shows me what the immediate coverage is for the radar, which is nifty, I should say, or I will say. Alright, and that gives me coverage of this particular area here, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to expand outward down this direction until I get rid of these guys. Who else is getting attacked? These guys again. And look, their attack waves are getting bigger. But that should come as no surprise, honestly. As long as the fences are holding, I'm not too concerned about it. There you go. I probably should be concerned, but I'm not, so. Okay, that's a lie. I'm concerned in my own way. Now I'm considerably less concerned because we're getting those damage upgrades out the way. This physical projectile damage too. So, yeah, they're not going to stand much of a chance against these guys with the attack upgrades I've got going. Part of me wonders if there's any nests in this little pollution cloud that I just can't see. I suppose I would be able to detect it better because you notice around this one here, the cloud. This little square is kind of blinking in and out. That's because the pollution is being absorbed by the nests. So even though that square is being filled with pollution, it's also being absorbed into it. So the pollution is disappearing from said square. So that's why. Anyway, that's what the blinking is. It's neat because if you're looking at the map and you start to see squares blinking in and out like that, that usually means that there is a nest in that spot of the map. So, you know, just something that you want to keep in mind, especially when you have expansion parties to worry about. Alright. So I got stone, I got steel, and I got iron. I could be making myself some rails right about now. Though I don't know if a full-on rail network is what I want to do right at this moment. Like, I don't know if that would be too soon to really start planning for it, on account of the fact that I don't exactly have a decent lay of the land, and I also don't have a decent defensive perimeter. It's not a bad. It wouldn't be a bad thing to plan for it at the moment, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it would be a good or bad idea at the moment. It's really hard to say. All right, good beans. We got ourselves a car. It's coal powered, so should be good to go. Let's take it for a drive. And you're probably gonna see my driving skills. Not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna run into that power pole just then. Alright, so that is an iron patch there. That's a decent size and got a little base. I want to find a spot that has very little cliffs. Not a spot, but I'm hoping there's a decent enough sized space to where there's very little cliff coverage, and that way I can figure out a better way to lay out my defenses, as well as how much space I got to work with in terms of the factory. So you gotta go through all this, see all that. There's more water. That could be useful because that could also be turned into a defensive area. Like if I were on an island, that'd be pretty sweet, because then I could just block off the entryways onto the island, and then boom, all the space to work with. Well, not all the space in the world, because obviously I got all these stinking cliffs in my way. But it would be lots of space to work with, and I wouldn't have to worry about the biters. There are quite a few cliffs on this end though, so I might be able to take advantage of that. Potentially. It might be a little bit tricky. These cliffs don't form do not form what I would call a decent perimeter. So if I were to try and turn this into a perimeter defense, it'd be a little kind of tricky to figure that out. But I'm not running into a lot of biter bases, and I say that, and then immediately find another biter base, and then there's another biter base right there. It's a good thing cliffs don't cause damage. That is quite a lot. They are sitting on quite a bit of oil over there, so I'm gonna want to make a note of that. A mental note, but a note nonetheless. There's another base right there. Ow, ow, ow. It's a good thing this car can ram through trees, but it does take quite a bit of damage. Just wait till I get a tank. That's why there's tanks in this game. They're immune to trees. Only downside is they're kind of slow. But hey, it's a tank. Who doesn't love a tank? Alright, get ourselves a perimeter. Lots of trees. It's an interesting blend of trees and desert and whatever you call this biome that I found myself in. It's kind of neat about it, because you know, with all this tree, man, all this tree coverage meant I didn't have to worry about pollution too much in the at the start. But then you transition into the more deserty areas, and the cool thing about desert areas is that there's lots of space to work with. A lot more rocks than you would probably like, but space is space. And having more space to work with is always great. And let's see. I bring myself to a stop here. So that's more or less what I'm working with in terms of, like, this is the largest bit. This right here, this whole circle from here to here to there to there, is the largest space I've got that has free of cliff coverage. Not infinitely expandable, but hey, it's space is space, and it looks like I don't have to worry too much about not knocking off too many biter bases. Obviously, expansions are still a thing, but I could make a decent perimeter defense work with all these cliffs around. Although, if I expand my search out just a little bit more, I wonder how that will affect what my options are. I know it's quite a bit of water up there to the north, but I'm still seeing quite a bit of land here, so I'm starting to get the impression I'm not quite on an island, which is disappointing, but it's not a big deal. The main advantage to having an island is a lot more space to just needing less of a defensive perimeter to keep the biters out is the main advantage of an island base. Not required, just would have been nice. Okay, well, I got more water. These trees are making it hard to navigate. I might have just found the northern coast. I think that's exactly what happened. There we go, and turn up and around and bob and weave through all these trees, and here we go. That's more like it. All right. So this is good because it's basically a free perimeter defense. I don't have to worry about biters coming from this direction. I just have to worry about them from coming from this direction. And it looks like to my south is the thing I'm going to be most concerned about. I don't seem to see any biter nests right over in this space here, so I'm going to be not going to concern myself with that. And how's my fuel? Doing fantastic. Okay. Coal power is very effective. Okay. I am definitely gonna want to head back soon enough because base is not going to expand itself. Let's put it that way. All right. Yeah. No. Nothing's gonna be bothering me from this direction. Unless we're talking about this little speck of land, a little strip of land right here. That could be quite annoying, but it's still a lot less space for me to worry about. Yep, definitely some biters out here. But I'm not seeing anything worth anything of note that I need to concern myself with, other than the biters. Yeah, I know. Chase after me. I don't care. Can't outrun my car. Don't worry, they'll eventually get bored and go back home. So that's definitely an option. So all I need to do is set up a perimeter defense like around here, probably using these cliffs in some way, and that will be the biter nests blocked off from this direction. All this should be covered, so the only concern would be coming from this down here. So that's good. The less of a perimeter wall I have to make, the better. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I can get out of this. See, I got out of it. And you doubted me. What did you do that for? I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm not going to go with a super thorough search, just going to get a general lay of the land. In fact, after I'm done with this particular side of things, I'm just going to head back home. Get off the cliff and get out of there. I'm under attack. Nope, don't get stuck on the rock. No, darn. Don't worry, I can outrun them. Not like that. Nobody panic. Watch out for the trees. Watch out for that. Stop attracting more biters. You're only gonna make it more awkward in the long run. There's just some worms sitting there. Nope. Bad call. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. Oof. Okay, I see my exit. In case you're wondering, yes, I can definitely load ammo into my gun. I didn't think to do that before I took my little road trip here. So, whoop-de-doo, I guess. But we made it back alive. Just gonna fix that up, and then all right. And that's quite a bit of coverage, quite a bit of area spaced out. So definitely want to knock out the bases of here up the top, and then I can just block this wall off, and then we're good on that area. However, there is quite a bit of biters in this little area here, and there's a big old patch of iron that I'm definitely going to want to grab. So expanding out that direction is going to be tricky. Good news is there's plenty of iron off in this direction right over here that I can just grab before I'm gonna hit up before that becomes necessary. And this is about what, 7.1 million is 1.9 million and everything. Not quite, so, but those should definitely be a decent place for me to go to get me some iron. Feed some iron into the factory and keep things going for a while before it even becomes necessary to go after that. So I'll just make sure I keep an eye on this little area. But with that, what are we doing next? We knocked out this. We knocked out. I suppose I could get a jump on. What am I getting a jump on? I'm making sulfur and plastics at the moment. And after that's done, I can get advanced circuits, and that will be all I need to get to chemical science. And oh my goodness, look at that. Didn't stand a chance. A bit of a tough spot with decision making, which is not a place I like to be. Let's get rid of that. I think I might wanna. I don't know if I should attack the bases right now, because the minute I do, evolution's gonna jump up, and if that's the case, and these buyers will become a much bigger concern at that point. But I do need the space, and right now that's the only ones it's stuck in the pollution cloud, and I could be making a rail network right at this moment. But I think I know what I want to do. I don't have to necessarily make a full-sized perimeter defense right this moment, but if I could at the very least get enough of a perimeter defense going to where I can, if I can get it inexpandable, if I can get one I can just increase the defenses outward as necessary, then that would be a good place to start. So I think that's what I'll do. And to do that, I'm going to need bricks. I'm going to need stone bricks. And I probably should have done this earlier, but we're doing it now. I'm going to automate me some miners. For that, I just need iron and these bad boys. And I don't need a, okay, I'm gonna get myself some more. I'm gonna get myself some assembling machine 2s. Those guys operate a lot faster than normal ones. So, okay, maybe not a lot, but they're definitely faster. Alright. Start. Get this. Let's just get it up and running real quick and then figure out what the defensive line is going to look like. I need plates and gears. Let's see. Start with these 4 and then make more of these. I hope this makes sense. So this thing is gonna take. Gotta get these out of the way. It needs gears to make, but unlike belts, which requires only just one gear, so you can just direct feed that constantly. You need at least 5 for this one. Okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, I might not need to go that drastic. This might be overbuilding it. Or underbuilding it. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do the simpler way. Scratch whatever I was about to say. It's not happening anymore. We're just going to do the standard direct feed. Alright. Gonna get these up and running as well. And we need plates for that as well. So do that. 2 spaces this way. Long hand inserters. These are gears. It's kind of a similar in principle to how I built like the normal inserters. Only it's going to take slightly more resources to make, which is not a big deal at all. However, I'm going to get more of the splitters. Get that going. Sulfur finished. We're not going to need that for a while, but it's nice to have. Sulfur finished research, I mean. Let's get this assigned to note. Wrong button. There we go. Got that. Plug in power. Wait, I haven't plugged everything in just yet. And then this is going to go up. There you go. Green circuits. I'm going to need more long hand inserters. And that means I'm going to need more of these. It's a perpetual cycle. I don't have enough of this thing, so I gotta make more of this, more of that thing, but then making that thing took away from that thing, so now I gotta make more of that thing, and it's a whole thing. But I don't need this many things because it's not gonna be collecting that fast. Okay, there, and there. And there is miners automated. I'm going to use those to expand my miners in the future to all the other places that need to be mined. Check my brilliant wordplay with that sentence. Alright. And with that, it's probably not enough, so I'll just come back for more. Now, I need bricks. So let's get ourselves some bricks. Brick just needs stone and smelting. Only they take twice as many stones to smelt into the brick. So I'm definitely gonna have to. Sorry, what we're doing. A standard smelting stack should work just fine if I chop it in half. I hate that. I can't draw a straight line to save my life. I don't necessarily know that I need to. Yeah, this is not gonna feed an entire stack, so I'm definitely gonna have to chop this in half. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, let's bring the coal over. In fact, let's just copy and paste what I got going for the steel stack. It won't produce it's not going to be anything amazing in terms of the amounts that I'm producing, but if it gets the job done, What do I need? I need more iron plates. Thankfully, it's all in a box. Right there. How was the steel doing, by the way? Well, steel stockpile. Quite good, I'd say. Do I need more of these? No? Okay. I could transition into steel smelting as soon as I get these bricks off the ground, because that will definitely be not a game changer, but it will definitely help. Only downside is I don't know if there's a difference in how much pollution they output. I don't know if it's less or more. I'm not a big like ratio guy, so I don't know like the ins and outs of all the numbers and all that. I know what I've been told by other Factorio players, and then I know what I have myself have figured out. Again, I'm not a ratio expert. I just know that if you do this, you'll get this and that, and it's just that's all. That's the whole back and forth. So, all right. That's there. Research another lab speed upgrade, and then I suppose just red science, the red circuits after that, and then blue science will be more or less within my grasp, if a bit distant. And then of course the rest of the game will unlock. The rest of that good automation. Of course, all that's going to need much bigger infrastructure than what I have going right now. So I definitely want to push towards getting my second stage base up and running. All this is just the base I needed to get myself off the ground. But let's get ourselves some bricks. Now, the main purpose of these bricks will be for the defensive line. I could make steel furnaces with these bricks also. That's definitely an option I could definitely consider. But I think mainly I want it for the walls. Because then all I need to do is just set up a very rudimentary perimeter defense. At least enough to where I can feel confident in that I will survive. I can expand my base without a ton of concern about whether or not an entire wave of biters is going to come crashing down on top of me and then tear me apart limb from limb. If I can mitigate that, that'd be fantastic. Okay. All right, there's that. Well, it's up and running, but need stone to turn into bricks. So last touch here before we turn on the stone smelter. Not smelter, stone miner into the brick smelter. Alright. Get this over here. And that should do. And now we just need to drag it over. A lot of asymmetrical designs on this. I'm sorry. I can't quite pull off the perfectly balanced, perfectly organized sushi base. Which is not my forte. But it's doing its job, at the very least. What would dropped frames mean? Doesn't appear to be a lot. It doesn't appear to be a whole lot of cause for concern, but I am curious. I wonder if there's a laggy point in the video that I'll see later. I suppose it's not a big deal. But with that, we got ourselves bricks. Should I just directly start turning that into walls? It probably couldn't hurt. I'm doing this. Alright. Nope. Not Not quite. There you go. Get that there. There. Nope, wrong button. Stop pressing the wrong button, bro. Hold up. I can do... Ooh, I can get me some heavy armor. Almost forgot about that. There you go. Just pressing random buttons and hoping something happens. Not deliberately, it's just how I am. I'm a very twitchy person. Don't ask me why, just that's how I am. What was I doing? Yes. There you go. Et voila. That should be turning into a perimeter defense soon enough. Most of it's going to be probably going into here, and then... Well, I say soon enough. It's probably going to be a slow trickle for the time being, but it's better than nothing. Meanwhile, I definitely can start building more towards getting that, getting those rails up off the ground. For that, I'm going to need... I need sticks. I need iron sticks to get to turn into railroad tracks. Okay. Iron Mine's still doing decently, so I should be able to make this work for a while. And it's going to be slightly less effective than it was before. Actually, you know what? The way I have things set up, I think if with enough creativity, I could. No, it's going to take... No, I can still do it. I'm just going to have to be a little weird about it. See, I got all the stone down here. If I can belt it all the way up. If I can belt it all the way from here, up and around, over to here. Merge it with a steel and some iron sticks, and then I'll have automated railroad tracks. So let's do that. Let's bring the stone up. Ugh, someone's seen better days. Okay, change this up slightly. Knock these trees out my way. God, this is much more in line with my usual Factorio spaghetti. I got some belts in one direction, but I need to bring it to another. So let's just belt weave like crazy all the way to the other side of the base. It looks horrendous, but it gets the job done. Now I need to bring this over here because I need the iron. I need stone to go into these. I didn't realize it was so... Okay, now I'll think about something else. Alright. Get out my way! Get out my way, trees. Get out my way, stones. Just everything, get out my way. Alright, there's steel. Alright, now let's change things up here. Bring this over. There you go. Then I just need to snatch some iron from the main belt. The main bus, whatever you want to call it. I should do something about the armor just sitting in my inventory being useless. Get this. I should be able to pull it right from right here. Bring this. I'm gonna bring this around. Bring this up here. All right. So we got the stone. We got all the ingredients. Now we just need to turn them into railroads. Well, I say all. I still need the iron sticks. Thankfully, iron sticks works a lot like copper wire. So let's do that, and then do this. I'm kind of going to be making a design on the fly here, so bear with me. So we're going to take these iron plates, turn them directly into iron sticks, and then that will feed directly into these. Let's hope that works. Nope, don't do it like that. I don't know if that will work, but let's give it a shot. There you go. Just make sure our lanes are balanced, and then the rest can come over here. Don't be paranoid. All right, red circuits are done. The only thing left as far as research is concerned is chemical science pack. Shouldn't take too long to research. I could, in the meantime, research. I could be researching these modules here, but those require red circuits. Since I don't have the means to produce red circuits at the moment, I'm probably gonna go. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I just got some. I don't know if I just got the chats or I'm only just now noticing them. But welcome. Thank you for jumping in. I've just passed my driving test. Congratulations, sir. Finally got that done. Get your license. Go home free. Woo! And once again, welcome to the stream. And with that, I forgot what I was talking about. But let's get this going. This is not going to be happening very fast, so I'm just going to stop collecting the iron plate, the steel plates, and just turn that directly into railroad tracks for the time being. Get that down. Oh, look at that. I need more longhand inserters. I think I was doing something along the lines of, I was talking about, I think I'll research the science pack and then mining productivity next. Or let's do it the other way around. Mining productivity. That will be good because I could use some decent productivity. Hopefully it'll extend the lifespan of these miners. And for those not to know, how productivity works is basically, in the case of the miner productivity, it basically for every operation a miner does, this bar fills, and that bar fills up by like a certain amount every operation. So if I increase the mining productivity 1 right now, it'll give me 10% productivity. So basically, for every mining operation that a miner does, the status of the productivity bar at the bottom will increase by 10%. And when it fills up, when that bar fills up, you get an extra resource basically for free. So at 10% productivity, you get one free piece of iron ore after every 10 operations. Everything. So it's a free increase of iron, we increased the amount of iron in this by 10% basically through let's just say magic at this point. But productivity is a big deal, especially when you get to later parts of the game, and then you can unlock things like productivity modules, which increases productivity for anything you stick them into, and then even crazier when you get to the later games and the later planets. And then you start getting things like buildings with built-in productivity. But that's a ways away, so we won't worry too much about those. So, for the time being, let's just continue getting the railroad tracks off the ground. Get that here, and then that. Stop being fidgety with the buttons. Go. Gotta plug this in. All right. Hopefully that's enough to feed all these machines, just the two of them. All right. And there are the railroad tracks. That ain't gonna work. Get that going. There we go. I could be using... I'm still using iron chests. I need steel chests because those hold a lot more. Good stuff. And with that, I don't have any more steel being used up. I need more. I need engines. I need more engines so I can make a train. Whoops. Things have kind of descended a little bit to where I'm kind of just like slapping things into machines and just to get things and just to make things happening. I said I was going to embrace the spaghetti, but yeah, this is quite the spaghetti if I do say so myself. All right. I'm going to clear up some space in my inventory. Not a lot of space, just I want to get some things that are kind of just holding space in it out of my way. Knock that out. So we've automated railways, we've got oil, so we can start working on petrochemicals. I don't really know what I'm going to do with that at the moment, but... The boxes are finally empty. I'm going to get rid of them. There we go. My power grid dropped slightly. And look, and good news is we're not producing too much in the way of electricity. I'm kind of impressed with how much I will be able to do with. Normally, I would have to do a lot more and produce a lot more energy just to make all this stuff happen. But I guess this is. All right, you're gonna head out. All right, man. Good on ya. Take care of yourself. Congrats on the passing the driver's test. Okay. Those guys are gonna be, well, they're not gonna last very long. I'll say that much, but they're definitely gonna be annoying. Man, these things are so creepy. Oh, right. That's concerning. Alright, at this point, evolution is at 0.16, which means... How do I put this? I'm pretty sure the minute I start clearing out biter nests, they're gonna hit evolution point 2, and I'm gonna start getting medium biters, which won't be too much of an issue, but that's the trade-off. Like, evolution is progressing pretty slowly because they've only been absorbing pollution, and that's what's been aiding in their evolution speed. But destroying nests is a huge contributor to that. So at this point, at evolution 0.16, we are definitely going to be getting medium biters the minute I start attacking nests. So So now the big question is, how I'm gonna tackle this. If I do it right, I can set perimeters around this area here, along here, and then wrapping around little circles and these little using these cliffs here and here, and then moving up like this, and like this. I don't know that's probably gonna take a lot of iron to pull that off, a lot of stones and bricks to pull that off. But if I do that, knock the biters off, and do that, I can then transition straight into the next phase of the base, and that will be, you know, getting the railways going and start harvesting from these little iron patches and all that. If I can get, at the very least, if I can get something rudimentary up, so I can at least increase get a better infrastructure down. It'll make transitioning into more advanced builds a lot easier. So, I suppose I should just start doing that. Just start building in that. Just like building things up in that direction. Well, let's see. Where do I start? Suppose I could start in this area here. Start there, build a wall here, build a wall there, wall down here, and here, and here, and here, and in this direction here, up there, down there, around there. Seems like a solid plan at the very least. The only slight issue I can foresee is maintaining an ammo supply, but honestly, it's probably not going to be as big of a deal as it sounds in my head. So I'm just going to push. I'm just going to make the push slowly but steadily. And I'll take out these nests as necessary. So I'll set up a perimeter like right around here and here, and then when I need to get this and set up the walls, like around here probably, then I'll knock out this nest here. Like, we're not gonna do a full-on biter purge to start off. And that's a decent number of bricks, honestly. Well, let's just turn all the bricks into walls. I think that would probably be the best course of action. I could turn this into a steel box there. Put that down there. Put that in there for the time being, so I can move this. Put that there. What am I doing? This right there. Okay. There we go. Get that going there. Alright. Get our walls up. We've already automated gun turrets and ammo, so won't be lacking. Although I wonder if I could increase that so I have more space. More space means more ammo. And then, okay. I'm glad this is working. It worked out a lot better than I expected it to, so that's nice. We got miners. I don't need that many miners. Although a decent number of miners is good to start. It is good. I'm definitely gonna have to expand on the amount of gun turrets I have because I heavily restricted that because I'm just doing like little patchwork defense. Just slap it down and hope it holds up. But if I'm gonna be expanding my defenses, I'm definitely gonna need to increase gun turret production. So we're doing that. And we're doing all right as far as rails are concerned. Okay, let's see. Productivity's gonna finish up, and then I'll transition into blue. That's not really a big deal at the moment. So let's see if we have enough walls to at least build even a small segment. I highly doubt it because I've only got like 200 walls, so it's not gonna be anything clear and not gonna be anything amazing. All right, let's go. I forgot to put away the armor in my inventory, but it's not a big deal. Now, this place is probably the safest area to start off with because there's a biter base like right there, but it's not in the pollution cloud, so it's not of any concern, not of any particular concern at the moment. So, this is a solid place to start. All right, I forgot. Let's stick the ammo in the box for now, just so I can clear space. Get the wall up here. Yeah, this is definitely not gonna be on a wall. This may end up going slower. This wall may end up going slower, go up slower than I initially realized. So a start is a start. Would you look at that? 100 walls stretches a lot further than I realized. Well, that's good. And then we just need to get these going. Don't need to be directly in front of the wall, just... I wonder if I just did it like this. That's too many gun turrets, so I'm gonna start chopping them out. Let's see, let's do it like this. This one here. No, that should work. Oh, chemical science is done. Can't do anything with it just yet, because I don't actually have chemical science, but hey, it's a start. Modular armor. Ooh. Suppose why not? Modular armor will be fun, because then I can start putting stuff into it that'll increase my capabilities, like speed and all that jazz. Of course, in order to make modular armor at this stage of the game, I would need solar panels. And I still haven't decided whether or not I'm just gonna go completely solarless. So got attack. Where at the usual spot. I'm not concerned about that spot. And decent enough ammo left over after that. Okay, that's one wall segment done. I am going to have to manually reload all of these, but if it does the job, then I don't care. Alright, gonna have to resupply on everything. Don't know if that'll be enough to get the next wall segment up, but nonetheless, we go. Ow. Hit myself. crashing my car into small rocks. Expert driving here, guys. Where we at? Alright. More gun turrets. Thank you, sir. More ammo. That was the wrong button. There we go. I'm gonna have to step up my ammo production because these are not producing nearly as fast as they could. So let's do that real quick. Let's put all this stuff in the blocks here. And how am I gonna do this? Wait, where did I leave the steel? I left the steel over here. There you go. Get myself one more of that. Need more copper plates in order to make more. That, and of course handcrafting, not a speedy process, sadly. Fix my gun turrets, doing their job, holding the line. And modular armor is already almost done. Fantastic. I don't have enough space for all this. Doesn't really matter. Get you out of the way. There we go. And oh yeah, I didn't expand this. Whoops. And not a big deal. My job is done. Honestly, I can just keep researching all this stuff just to keep my machines busy. Flow dragons. Hang on. All that, and I already got the automated rails and vision. Okay, I'm just looking at what my options are and what needs doing. It's not a huge amount. What was I doing? Okay. Expanding ammo production. Thankfully, all I need is iron, so. I really should have been doing fast inserters a lot sooner. Don't ask me why it took me so long to just start employing them. I'm lazy. Didn't want to handcraft a ton. Well, we get those. And that probably sounded weird. That was just stretching. Alright, get these going. Wait for more. Get this belt going here. While we're at it. No, not like that. And just plug it in. And there's ammo increased slightly. I say slightly, it's probably going to go a lot faster than the one I have set up right now. Pretty much I don't need y'all leeching off ammo right there. Alright. Cool beans. My inventory is getting a little crowded, so I'm going to empty out my pockets here. And normally, for reasons I can't really explain, I tend to have a storage area. I always end up setting up my storage area like right next to the power. Again, I don't really know why. It's just how it ends up going. Let's see. I don't need this much wood. I don't need this much coal, and I don't need this much stone. Actually, coal I'm gonna stick in my car because my car is coal powered. And then just put the steel up. And then, let's see, iron, cover that. Hang on a sec. That. And then we can have lots of steel chests. I'm definitely going to be needing a lot more steel chests. Let's do, nope. That. And then I'm going to put armor here because I don't really need that anymore. Gonna have this little box for things that I don't need anymore. Like I just don't, like I'm just not gonna see any use. I know most people tend to just destroy the boxes, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna reserve them for a later date. They will be useful in a small capacity down the road. With that, I can continue with the border setup. Got me some more walls. Other than steel back at home. Ammo is doing stuff. There we go. And there we go. On to the next thing. Alright, how are we going to do this? We're going to have to block off the oil here. I think I can just do a straight L. I would normally probably do like some sort of diagonal of some sorts, but it always feels weird. You know what? I'm just gonna do that anyway. See how well this goes. And not half bad. That's concerning. Doesn't look like they succeeded though. Although I did lose some gun turrets, so I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. But that is a surprisingly straight diagonal line. I don't know if that's oxymoronic or not, but I'll get back to you. Just gotta patch some holes. Don't run into anything. Don't run into anything. Just gonna circumvent this little nest here. So why it's gotta be so dark? I have been slacking on my. I've been slacking on putting down lights, if I'm being honest. Well, thankfully they weren't able to harm the pump jacks. However, there you go. Only mildly concerning that they really caused that much damage, but like I said, only mildly. Some problems aren't really that big of an issue. Sometimes a problem only seems like a problem because you made up a problem in your head. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but grab me more walls. I can grab more ammo while I'm at it. All right, let's get those gun turrets set up. Even a little bit of progress on the border wall is quite a bit of progress in the long run, so that's always good to get the stuff going. Now, I wonder how lining up the gun turrets on this will do, if it will fare. Let's see. Nope, that looks weird. Yeah, it's not quite working as well as the. I suppose this is fine. I'm gonna patch up this little hole here. There you go. Should work just fine like that. Is that enough coverage? Isn't that gonna be a blind spot? Mildly exposed area, I suppose, but looks like it's within range of enough gun turrets where I can leave that. I'll put them up anyway. There you go. All right. Give me some. Get the ammo loaded up. And I have a couple stacks of spare. That is good. That went up better than I expected. Love that. Combinators. I don't know if I'm going to use you this run, but at least you're there. Alright. Get this knocked out. Head down. This is what I need. A cliff with holes in it. Nothing a little wall can't fix. And just in case. There you go. Alright, now, the next wall I'm going to set up will probably be this one right here, which means I'm going to have to finally get rid of this nest right there. Of course, for that, I'm going to need a means of keeping myself from dying. Which means ammo, decent amount of ammo, decent amount of gun turrets, decent amount of fish. I'm going to need fish for this. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I may have to wait for that to stockpile. Yeah, I'm probably gonna wait to put out the stockpile. I'm not sure what I have on me on hand is gonna be enough for it. How is evolution doing? Yep. Oh man, the amount of spawners I'm polluting is increasing. That's crazy. How many nests are there? Oh, I think I'm hitting those guys on the top now. That's concerning. And that's concerning. Hopefully my defenses hold before I hold. Are they? Did they? Only when we find out. But yep, the defense is held. Thank goodness. Doesn't even look like they got very far. That's crazy. As long as it worked. Just in case though. Alright. Next step on the dock, the next thing on the dock is going to get rid of that nest. I've got everything I need. Honestly, I just need more ammo. It's just not nearly enough ammo to get the job done. I could pull ammo from those gun turrets that are nearby it, because they're not going to be used for anything else. They're going to have the change of... They're going to have a new purpose. Gonna put them in a new place. It looks like... The red science stockpile slowed down quite a bit. I say quite a bit. It's not that big of a deal. I wonder if I say it a lot. I'm starting to think I say that a lot. That things aren't a big deal. Because they're not. Sometimes a thing is only a big deal because you make it a big deal. So if you don't want it to be a big deal, then don't. Then just don't. That's my advice. Just don't. Anyway, the last thing I'm gonna need to get my hands on is fish, because fish have magical healing powers, and I just I did it. happened. I crashed into a power pole and destroyed my entire electrical grid. I really need to. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm not deliberately forgetting to include lamps in my builds. I just don't think to do it. Alright, Gravis was quite a bit of fish. I don't know why that dude has such long arms when he can barely reach machines and stones to whack them. But when it comes to grabbing fish, he can just reach in, just reach over, grab the fish, and then boom, he's got fish in his inventory. And now we're good to go. I've not gotten any attacks on this side, so I wonder if it would be too big of a risk. Okay, let's risk it, because I need the ammo. Eesh. Iron production dropped off a cliff a little bit. Man, that iron is draining faster than I expected, even with the 10% productivity. I'm definitely gonna need to start pushing more towards the base real faster than I realize. Of course, I would have hoped to have had, at the very least, had like blue science automated somewhat before I had to worry about whether or not I could get whether or not I need to expand to a new base. But I suppose that change of plans, I guess. All right, let's go take out that base while the fish are still fresh. Now, let's see. There's only one worm to worry about, and I got that attack force there. I'm not sure if I should wait, see if that's where that attack force goes before. I mean, that's the way it is. I guess I won't. Well, I suppose I won't have to wait long. Let's get myself set up here. Ammo, and then the repair packs. All right, let's get to work. All right, get that going there, and then no, I need to do this. Big concern is the worm. Thankfully, that guy doesn't take too long to take out. Pressing the wrong button. All right, just go let these guys do their work. And that is a base destroyed. Alright, so evolution was at 18 before I decided to tackle that. Now it's up to 19. Still absorbing pollution. Nest is still absorbing pollution, so I'm definitely going to be hitting medium biters pretty soon enough. And look at that. While they still don't stand a chance, I do believe it is. I do think it's telling that they can get as far as they are. They can get as far as they have, despite only being small biters. So it's slight cause for concern. Slight. But nothing to do about it now. Just keep things moving. The walls will definitely help, I think. And speaking of which, let's go get things going back on track with the perimeter defense. I predict that before this is all done, I'm gonna have my iron is gonna drop off. I don't know if the iron patch will be completely depleted before I'm finished. I hope it's still operational before, but it's not looking. Output is not looking good. But no point in panicking about it. No point in freaking out about it. Just keep things moving. Hoy. Nah, I should have gotten more sleep last night. I'm all sleepy. That's my story in a nutshell, though. Don't get nearly enough sleep. Okay. So this should be good enough to just do. Straight line will work just fine here. Ah. They found a weak spot. They found an exposed area. Darn trees, get out my way. I'm losing stuff. Okay, looks like I only lost belts. Alright. Suppose that was bound to happen. What direction they come from? Was it these? I think it was these guys. That's mildly concerning. Looked like whatever damage they did didn't break the. I guess they didn't sever the electrical connection. That's lucky, I guess. Definitely not nearly as bad as it could have been. But like I told you before, though, biters are smarter than they look. You leave an exposed area in your base, and they will exploit it. All right, let's get these. There you go. Alright. Don't know if that will be enough to plug the hole, but it's better than nothing. Alright, back to where I was. Well, I had to spend quite a bit of ammo to fix that up, so I'm probably not going to be able to do the full defensive perimeter. At least not right this second. I can set the wall up at least. That will be a major step at the very least. Get that. Grab me some walls. Lots of walls. Gonna need lots and lots of walls. Get myself more ammo. It's decent enough. Looks like ammo. It looks like iron production went up slightly. I wonder if one of the machines are paused because they got caught up. Might even be the miners, the automated mining. Don't know. All I know is that everything is working. So as long as everything's working, then I shouldn't freak out. There you go. It's gonna be on the longer side. Thankfully, it should still work with just a straight line. And of course, I'm going to demonstrate my lack of ability with drawing straight lines. Never been able to draw a straight line to save my life. Knock that down there. Building up the bases, beating down the patrols, getting down the perimeter defenses, and get out of my way, rocks. Alright. There's the wall. Now I just need to slap down some turrets, and then we should be good to go from that direction. And it looks like I have to plug up holes along the coast, along the cliff side here. So a wall from here to here should suffice, actually. I'll do that next. Wait, what? For real? Oh no, 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 not my railroad. Oh no, that's my railroad. No, 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 no. No, not my railroad tracks. No, my railroad tracks. Oh no. Oh no. They destroyed my railroad tracks. Oh, those resources down the drain. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that hurts. Oh man. That really stings. Oh man. I don't even know how many railroad tracks were in that box, but they're all gone now. Back to square one. That's not cool. That is really not cool. I don't know who did it, but now I'm mad. Lost all that. Sorry, I'm a little miffed about that. Oof. And I promised I wouldn't save scum, so. Y'all will get yours. Ugh. Okay, so we're not getting we're not getting medium biters right this moment, but we are going to be getting them soon. If anything, that's more incentive to get this perimeter wall up. Because obviously I have too many exposed areas. I have more exposed areas than I realize. And honestly, I did not realize just how exposed the area up there was. It was completely exposed. I had no defense. It had no defenses to speak of, and I lost my railroad tracks as a result. So if anything, it's definitely on me for not shoring up my defenses like I should have. It's real bad right there. So let's get those up, get those running, make sure I don't have any exposed areas, and then I can breathe a little bit easier. Not a lot, but a little bit. Get this out of the way. You know, I don't like I don't like that when chests and all that get destroyed, that everything else inside them gets destroyed. I would prefer to play operate more like Diablo rules, you know, where everything kind of just spills onto the ground and then you have to just pick it all up. Sure, that would be good. Sure, it is a favorite way for people to get rid of resources and items they don't need, but like I don't know. I have a mild, I have a very slight hoarder mentality when it comes to things. I don't like to just throw items away because you know I might need them later. Let's get this stuff researched because might as well. So like me personally, I would rather just stick things in a chest until I can use them later or I can just recycle them later, which I suppose is a nice little benefit to having recycler technology. But I suppose as I am from this side, I'm maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure how much of this space I should be concerned about now that I think about it. Ugh. Not sure. All right. Should I? Should I set up the defensive line up here right like sooner than rather than later so that I can knock out these bases here? Then at the very least I won't be exposed. It's certainly an option, honestly. In fact, I might just want to start doing it anyway because without that base down there, then the only base I'd be concerned about is like this one right here. So these guys are probably gonna be a bit more of a headache than I realized, especially with this top side being a lot more exposed than the bottom side. So I might just want to shore up that top side area first. So that is honestly now I'm thinking now that I'm going over it, that is probably the best course of action. It's not the most practical way to stock up, but it'd be so much easier if I had even distribution. But I don't, so. Okay. And then make this a shorter jaunt. Definitely don't have enough ammo to fill up all the gun turrets. What am I doing? There you go. Is there a more efficient way to do this? Definitely. Am I going to use that more efficient method? Probably not, because I don't know what that more efficient method is. This is an unmodded run. I can't use the good mods. Can't use even distribution because then this wouldn't be the pure mod, the pure run that it was that I set out to make. I'm about to run up without my car. Oh boy, my brain still left me. All right, I do believe that will be my next course of action. I'm probably gonna shore up this top side here, get rid of these nests, have my revenge for the loss of all that progress. It's probably like half of this box is full before it got destroyed. But I'm gonna deal with that. I'm gonna deal with that, and then start moving my base in the direction of the second stage base. One which will probably involve a railway system. So That one is really gonna take a lot more planning because I want it to be. I want to make sure it's got the space and all the areas figured out to where, if necessary, all I gotta do is just slap down a stack, slap down another lane of something, and then everything will continue to operate, and I can just continue to expand until I no longer have room to expand. That will be the goal. But I'm gonna have to tackle that one next time because I'm about to hop off now. I got stuff to do today, and we're a bit shy of the 2 hour mark, but it's fine. I still think some decent ideas and made some decent progress, especially when it comes to setting things up. We got blue science research. We're knocking out all the green and red sciences. Everything's been automated enough to the point where I can just have this thing running and I don't have to worry about it. I can worry about everything else, and that's a proper automated system, if you ask me. So, it's not the most amazing thing, obviously, and look at that. We got those guys. Where are they going? Please tell me they're going to a place that's fortified. They are. Alright. They weren't very intelligent. Okay. No crisis. But we're on a decent spot where we can continue to make progress, and I'm not running into that same thing where I hit a wall and realize I'm not entirely sure what to do with myself next. So that's nice. It's nice not sitting here all confused and unsure of myself. So, but that'll be the plan for the next time. Was continuing to shore up these defenses here and start getting the idea and start getting the plans down for the rail base. And as I'm planning that base, I'm also gonna start make sure I got the infrastructure down for blue science. Make sure I got that turns into production for the more advanced stuff. Definitely, the big goal out of all this is getting myself some bots. I need bots to make this proper operational. Trains and bots, and that is the plan for a properly automated and functional base that will get me to space and beyond. So, with all that said, we got the one viewer, which is great, and I appreciate anybody else who comes in and sees the video after the fact. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope to continue having fun in the future. I'm going to be taking a siesta tomorrow. There will not be a live stream tomorrow. That will be my day off from live streaming. But hopefully I'm able to conquer my own laziness, and I will be back on Thursday and hopefully Friday as well. The good news is I will have more free time on those particular days, so whether or not that equates to a longer / shorter, depending on how I'm feeling those days, hopefully I can push more towards doing even longer streams. I mean, I've done 2 hours not without too much issue, so if I can start doing things like 3-hour streams, that'd be pretty great. It'll take some getting used to for me. Obviously, I'm not used to talking nonstop for that much time, but I was able to. It was a lot easier doing it 2 hours now, as opposed to when I first started out, when it was a struggle just to do 1 hour. So, all that said, this is a lot of fun. Hopefully see everyone again soon. And with that, I bid you adieu.